For Angela and Peter Hynam, it took 6 years to truly realize and accept that their firstborn, Matthew, had a genetic disorder.
It is called Fragile X syndrome. It's a genetic condition that causes a range of disabilities, including learning and cognitive impairment. I felt alone. I felt like I had no one to talk to, and I prayed a lot. I'm a praying mom.
I would say is that when you were dealing with what is important with these kids, I think early detection and getting diagnosed correctly is very important.
Their second child, Joshua, was born without complications. But for Angela in particular, the reality of Matthew's special needs required her to make certain life changes.
I sat for hours on end trying to form words to let him say mom. When it came to him eating, he was a greedy baby and he couldn't even get the food to his mouth. So I would raise the hands and help him. Sometimes he would just take up everything and he would throw it in his face because I was too slow in doing it. And I decided, I really needed to help this child. So when I realized that whatever he couldn't do, I tried to help him to do it. He couldn't walk properly, well, I tried to help him. I became a stay-at-home mom, right? And I tried in every way.
But by the grace of God, Angela decided she was going to give Matthew as normal a life as possible.
We just live. Let everything be natural. Don't dwell on what Matthew has. We didn't do that. We didn't dwell on that syndrome. We just treated everything normal. Matthew, do this. Matthew, do that. There were times he didn't even understand, but you showed him. So we didn't stay in a box we didn't keep him in a box and try to do extra things. We just made everything normal, and he has a sibling, a younger sibling, and it was just like normal.
There is a difference because you have to, I don't want to say shield him, but you have to look out for him and make sure that to the best of our ability that he is happy, To a certain extent, he's easier to cope with than Joshua.
And Matthew thrived. He's an excellent swimmer and boasts many medals, including gold at the Special Olympics in China. He also loves his music and plays the drums. After 23 years, Angela and Peter have surmounted their share of challenges, experienced much joy, and have these words of wisdom to share.
I would say parents not to focus on that disability. Just try to do, if you have the time, and I know lots of parents don't, just try to do with whatever little time you have, you can give it to this child. Include them in whatever. You might have more kids. Include them, don't exclude them, because we tend to let them sit and look on. Include them in whatever, and you would see a great change in that disability just by including them and allowing them to be a part of whatever you're doing.
Patience, because sometimes they can be very stubborn, and therefore you tend to, in that moment, think of them as kind of normal. Your reaction is to lash out or to become mad, but then you have to realize that it's all part of his disability, and therefore you have to kind of calm down, count to 10, come back again and deal with it.